Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 7-testining 3-testi hisoblanadi. Passage tree-sini analizini qilamiz va bu qismni o'z ko'rganingizdek birinchi navbatda biz titlga qarab olishimiz va tushunishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Music and emotions demak qismda musiqa va emotsiyalar. Va bundan keyin esa biz birinchi navbatda bizdan qanaqa skilllarni ishlatish kutilayotganligini bilish maqsadida savol turlariga qarashimiz kerak va bu qismda summary composition no more than 2 words, ikkita so'zdan ko'p ishlata olmaymiz va Montreal study haqida ma'lumot berilgan va Montreal studyda ikkita paragrafda javoblarni topishimiz mumkin bo'ladi. Undan keyin esa bizda hop first paragraph demak o'sanda sorry guys multiple choice savollariga javob berish talab qilinadi. Undan keyin esa bizda matching information bo'lsa kerak. Matching information complete each sentence with the correct ending. O'qishda gapni boshi berilgan va gapni oxirini o'zimiz topishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Xo'p, multiple choice'da keywordlar borligi sababli multiple choice birinchi navbatda bajarishga harakat qilamiz va what point does the writer emphasize in first paragraph? Birinchi paragrafda writerning maqsadi nima o'shani topishimiz kerak. What does music make us feel? Why does music make us feel? Oh, good question. On the one hand, music is a purely abstract art form, devoid of language or explicit ideas. And yet, even though music says little, it still manages to touch us deeply. When listening to our favorite songs, our body betrays all symptoms of emotional arousal. The pupils in our eyes dilate, our pulse and blood pressure rise, electrical conductance of our skin is lowered, and the cerebellum, a brain region associated with bodily mood, becomes strangely active. Blood is even redirected to the muscles in our legs. In other words, sound stirs us at our biological roots. Muzikani bizga yoqimli bo'lgan musiqani qanaqa bizga ta'sir bo'lishi haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Mana our biological roots haqida yozilgan. How dramatically our reactions to music can vary haqida ma'lumot berilmagan. How intense our physical response to music can be. Yes. How little we know about music effects haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Little haqida ma'lumot yo'q. How much music can tell us about how our brains operate haqida ma'lumot yo'q. What view of Montreal study does the writer express in the second paragraph? Montreal studyni ikkinchi paragrafda nima qanaqa ma'noda tushuntirib bergan? Montrealni nima ma'noda bergan? A recent paper in A recent paper in Nature Neuroscience by a research team in Montreal kind of marks an important step in revealing the precise underpinnings of the potential pleasurable stimulus that music is. Also, the study involves plenty of fancy technology, including functional magnetic resonance. Astaghfirullah. Also, the study involves plenty of fancy technology, including functional magnetic resonance imaging and ligand-based. Wow, what is it? PET scanning. The experiment itself was rather straightforward. After screening 270 individuals who respond to advertisements requesting people who experience chills to instrumental music, the scientists narrowed down the subject pool to 10. They then asked the subjects to bring in their playlist of favorite songs. Virtually every genre was represented, from techno to tango, and played the music while the brain activity was monitored. Because the scientists were combining methodologies, PET and MRI, they were able to obtain an impressive, exact and detailed portrait of music in the brain. The first thing they discovered is that music triggers the production of dopamine. Wow! A chemical with a key role in setting people's mood. Seriously? By nerve cells in both the dorsal and ventral regions of the brain. And these two regions have long linked the experience of pleasure. The finding isn't particularly surprising. It is surprising. Okay, bunda Montreal studyda zo'r texnologiyalarni ishlatgan ekan, lekin eksperiment to'g'ri straightforward oddiy narsa ekan. 217 ta odamdan eksperiment o'tkazishgan ekan, 10 ta odamni saqlab qolishgan ekan, 10 ta odamdan playlistini olib kelib, brainida qanaqa oqibatga olib kelishini ko'rgan ekan. Xo'p, its aims were innovative? No. No. The approach was too simplistic? Yes. Pretty straightforward. Remarkably precise data. Okay. Hop. Approach was too simplistic. Demak, juda ham oddiy bo'lib qolgan degan ma'lumot bor. Too simplistic emasda. Endi bu qismda straightforward degani murakkab emas. Too simplistic bo'lsa, juda ham u murakkab emas, u neytral ma'noda aytgan bo'lsa, bu qismda negative ma'noda too simplistic deb aytganligini ko'rishingiz mumkin. It produces some remarkably precise data haqida ma'lumot bor. Aqsimda bor. The first no. Impressively exact detailed portrait. Mana bu impressively exact detailed portrait bo'lganligi sababli shuning ham scene olamiz. The technology used was unnecessarily complex. Kompleksligi bor, lekin unnecessarily degan so'z yo'qligi sababli uni olmaymiz. Unnecessarily keraksiz ravishda kompleks haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Bundan tashqari ham e'tibor oladigan joylar bor. Masalan, bu qismda masalan o'z ko'rsangiz simplistic haqida ma'lumot bor, too simplistic haqida ma'lumot yo'q, complex haqida ma'lumot bor, unnecessarily haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Bundan tashqari sizga agar kerak bo'ladigan bo'lsa keyword. Bu writerning asosiy maqsadi yaxshi bu qismda juda ham impressively exact detailed portrait chiqqanligini ko'rsatishdi. U sizga texnologiyani yoki metodni ko'rsatish emas edi. O'shanga qarab javob topsa olsangiz bo'ladi. Demak, ikkita bu javoblarni topishga muvaffaq bo'ldik. Bunisiga ham topishimiz kerak. Participants who were recruited for studies of advertisements that the brain blah 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 noticed that music stimulated the brain's neurons to release a substance called dopamine. Here, dopamine into whatever. Dopamine in two of the parts of the brain which are associated with feeling pleasure, probably. Which are associated with feeling pleasure. Yeah, have long been linked with the experience of pleasure. Pleasure. Associated with feeling pleasure. Keyingisiga o'tib ketamiz. That's it, guys. Bo'ldi. Pleasure'ga o'tib ketdik. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Research also observed keyingi paragrafda shuning uchun javoblarni topamasligimiz aniq. Shuning uchun ham bu qismni tugatamiz hozircha. Hamma qismdan ikkita javobni topdik. Buni ustiga Montreal researchers discovered that demonstrated. Hope, demak, Montreal haqida davomiy javob bor bo'lsa, what is rather more significant is the findings that the dopamine neurons in the caudate region of the brain involved in learning stimulus response. Oh, seriously, region of the brain involved in learning stimulus response associations and anticipating food and other reward stimuli were all at their most active around 15 seconds before the participants' favorite moments of the music. The researchers call this anticipatory phase and argues that the purpose of this activity is to help us predict the arrival of our favorite part. The question, of course, is what all these dopamine neurons are up to. Why are they so active in the period preceding to the acoustic climax? After all, we're typically associate sources of dopamine with pleasure, with the processing of actual rewards, and yet this cluster of cells is most active when the chills have yet to arrive, when the melodic pattern is still unresolved. Haha. Good luck with that. What does the writer find interesting about the results of Montreal study? Here, interesting. What is interesting is that why is the healthier coming at the beginning? The timing of the participants' neural responses to music, correct. The impact of the music on participants' emotional state, no. Section of the participant's brain which was activated by the music, nope. It's like timing, before, after. Type of music which has strongest effect haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Bu shuning uchun ham timing deb buni ayni olamiz va ayni olishimizga sabab hozir men tushuntirib beraman. Wow, it hurts now. Don't touch it. Like, damn it. You stupid person. Here. Okay. The question, of course, is what all do these openings are neuron up to and why these are doing preceding. This are the keywords and the reasons for our answer. Mayak's work on music and emotion haqida ma'lumotlarni o'qimadik. O'qisak topamiz javobni. Va qismda researchers also observed the neurons in the area of the brain called the something. What was that name? Caudate. That hurts now. Fine, doesn't matter. We particularly active with just before the participants' favorite moments in the music, the period as known as anticipatory phase. Where is anticipatory phase? Where is it? Anticipatory phase here. Job anticipatory phase. And this part of the brain is associated with expectations of rewards stimuli such as food. It helps us particular arrival of favorite part. Such as what about the or anticipation of food and other rewards. Here other reward stimuli and anticipating of food. Demoqchimda, lekin javoblar tartibda kelmadi. Shuni e'tiborga olishingiz kerak. Tartibda kelmadi nimagadir javoblarimiz. O'zi bo'ladi, kimisi kelmasin, lekin tartibda kelmadi. Shu qismlarni javoblarini tugatdim. Sizlarga tushunarsiz bo'lmagan deb umid qilaman, chunki hammasini paraphrase qilib joylarini ko'rsatdim qayerdan olganimni. Agar tushunmagan bo'lsanglar, I'm sorry guys. Montreal research discovered that our response to music depends on our initial emotional state. Nope. Neuron activity decreased if thought. Nope. Emotive music can bring to mind pictures. Nope. Experience in our past can influence. Nope. Emotive music delays giving listeners to what? Nope. Neuron activity increases prior to key points. Yeah, man. Neuron activity increases prior to key points. It's F bo'ladi javobimiz. Bo'ldi, keyingiga o'tib ketamiz. Boshqa rangdan tanlab o'tib ketamiz lekin. Xo'p, F ketib qoldi. Keyingiga o'tamiz, keyingisini o'qiymiz. One way to answer the question is to look at the music and not the neurons. While music can often seem like a labyrinth of intricate patterns, it turns out that the most important part of every song or symphony is when the patterns break down. When the sound becomes unpredictable. The music is too obvious, it's annoyingly boring and like an alarm clock. Numerous studies, after all, have demonstrated that dopamine neurons quickly adapt to the predictable rewards. If we know what's going to happen next, we don't get excited. That's why composers often introduce a keynote in the beginning of a song, spend most of the rest of the piece in the studies avoidance of the pattern, and then finally repeat it only at the end. The longer we are denied of the pattern we expect, the greater emotional release than when the pattern returns as a safe and sound. O'z ko'rganidek qismda biz neyronlarga emas, muzikaga qarashimiz kerak. Music bizga labyrinth of intricate patterns deb tuyuladi, lekin unaqa emas. Qisqasi shu repetitive, not repetitive haqida ma'lumotlar bor. Agar ko'klarida adab qolishi mumkin, repeat bo'ladigan narsalarga o'sha shuni qochishga harakat qilishadi, o'zgartirishga harakat qilishadi. Oxirida shunday qaytarishganda biz o'sha kutib turgan patternni expect qilamiz-da, yaxshi emotional release bo'ladi degan ma'lumot bor. Mayak. Is it Mayak? The question is, Mayor, why did I read this thing? Why did I read? Stupid. It was not unnecessary, I think. Keraksiz joyini o'qib qo'ydim shekilli. Wow. Maybe here. When it says demonstrate that our response to music depends on our initial emotions. Nope. Decrease if outcomes. Yeah. Neuron activities decrease if outcome becomes predictable. Demoqchimda, agar predictable bo'lib qolsa, oqibat yoki natija bizani neuron activitylarimiz decrease bo'ladi, zerikib qoladi. O'sha narsa haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Keyingiga o'tamiz. To demonstrate this psychological principle, musicologist Leonard Meyer, in his classic book Emotion and Meaning in Music, analyzes the fifth movement of Beethoven's string quartet and C-sharp minor, blah blah blah. Meyer wanted to show how music is defined by its flirtation with but not submission to expectations of order. Meyer dissected 550 measures of masterpiece, showing how Beethoven begins with a clear statement of a rhythmic harmonic pattern and then in an ingenious tonal dance carefully holds off repeating it. What Beethoven does is that he suggests variations of the pattern. He wants to preserve an element of uncertainty in his music, making our brains beg for the one short chord he refused to give us. Beethoven saves the chord short for the end. O'z qo'shnida Meyer Beethovenni asarlarida ko'rgan. Bu o'sha patterndan flirtation, submission emas, expectation of order, hamma narsani belgilab qo'ydim. Menga tushunarli bo'ldi. Tushunarli bo'lmagan bo'lsa, o'qib olinglar. Shows that emotive music delays giving listeners what they expect to hear. Emotive music o'sha eshitayotgan odamlar nima eshitishini expect qilayotgan bo'lsa, ajratib qilayotgan bo'lsa, o'shani delay qiladi, oxirida beradi. Oxirida kutib turgan odam beradi, zo'r qoladi keyin. Shuning uchun ham iyni olamiz. Keyingisiga refers to music and emotion to propose an original theory about the subject. Original theory. Nope. Offer support for the findings of Montreal study. Of course, offer support for the Montreal study. To recommend the need for further research. Nope. Need for further research haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Present and view which opposed to the Montreal research. Nope. Montrealga Montreal haqida Montrealga qarshi gap bo'lmaydi bu qismda menimcha. Adashmasam, qarshi gap bo'lmadi. Adashgan bo'lishim mumkin. I'm sorry guys. Adashgan bo'lsam. No. It's not adashgan. According to what causes a listener's emotional response to music? Nima qilardi? Mana bu so'zga javob berilgan. 36 according to Meritz, boshqacha rangni oladiman. I'm tired, guys, like really tired, seriously tired. According to Meritz, it's a suspenseful tension of music arising out of our unfulfilled expectations. That's the source of our music's feeling. Here, job. That the way the music evokes poignant memories. Nope. Association of certain musical chords. Nope. Listener sympathy with the composer's intention. Nope. Internal structure of musical composition. Maybe. While earlier series of music focus on the way a sound can refer to the real world of images and connected to meaning, whereas the emotions we find in music come from the unfolding events of the music itself. Its embodied meaning arises from the patterns of symphonies evokes and then ignores this uncertainty that triggers the search in the codex that as a struggle to find out what will happen next. We can predict some of the notes, but we can predict them all. That's what keeps us listening, waiting expectantly for our reward, for the pattern to be completed. No information about memories. No musical chords. No composer, like internal structure haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Internal structuresi o'sha yaqin chordlarni beradi, yaqin notalarni beradi, butunlay takrorlamaydi. O'sha uchun ham kutib o'tiraveramiz biz. Tendekka o'xshab qachon kelar ekan bu nota deymizda, o'sha uchun ham kutib o'tiramiz. Earlier series of music suggested. Earlier series. Where do I find earlier series now? Our response to music depends on an initial nope. Emotive music can bring to mind a nope. Here. Borbo. Earlier series of music focused on the way sound can refer to the real world of images and experience. So yeah, sure, emotive music can bring actual pictures and events. Here. See what I do. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Agar men o'zim ko'nglim to'lmadi bu videodan, agar sizlarda muammo bo'ladigan bo'lsa, kommentarda qoldiringlar. Men bu videoni yana qaytadan olaman-da, javoblarni qaytadan ko'rsatishga harakat qilaman. Thank you guys. Bye bye. See you next